So when, people with low IQs like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a low IQ person, Traitor Greene. Or some people call her Taylor Greene, some people call her Taylor Brown, because green sometimes turns to brown. When she says it's too, but she was a loyal person until I wasn't able to answer her phone calls because I'm just too busy to answer people's phone calls. You can't call me 3 times a day.
Do you regret, do you apologize for saying those things?
I've already addressed this. I said it on CNN. I've said it back in 2020, and thank you. I've already addressed it.
Could you address it here again, though? And if not, why not?
Thank you. I've already addressed it.
Ma'am, I don't want to dwell here, but I don't think you have addressed it here. If it's something you regret, could you just explain why you don't want to say it again?
I'm sorry, but...
She just won't go away, ladies and gentlemen. Marjorie Taylor Greene, from my own state, is out here rage quitting an interview. She's upset because she's going to all these different left-wing places all over the TV. Clearly, she's trying to remain in the public eye. So retiring from Congress early, funny thing, they're trying to get rid of insider trading in Congress, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is also trying to leave Congress around the same time. Interesting, but she's leaving, but clearly she's not done being in the public eye. She says she has a construction company. She has plenty of money. Well, then why the heck are you all over the freaking TV all the time? Why you keep going on all these shows? And if they bring up your past, is that not a fair thing to do? Let's go ahead and react to what she has to say about this before she rage quits, at least. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
Ma'am, I want to ask you just a couple last questions. I always want to be respectful of your time. You have said in this interview in so many words, and you've said in other interviews, including on CNN just a few weeks ago, you said you want to move past what you called the toxic politics of our modern system. You yourself have a history of making sometimes controversial comments. Looking back,
Facts.
Do you feel like you have anything personally to apologize for and possibly contributing to that discourse?
This seems to be the popular question from everyone that is interviewing me, and I've very much already addressed that. I don't think it has to be said over and over again in every single interview I do, but I'm sincere in my words. I think that America has been ripped apart by both sides of the aisle with toxic politics, and it comes from both parties and members of both parties. We see it in...
And guys, I want to just say this because it seems like a lot of people don't understand this concept. When you establish yourself as a person, it could be to your family, your friends, your loved one, kids, your parents. It could be to people on YouTube. It could be to your subscribers. It could be to your constituents if people voted for you. Or it could just be to the world if you're a public figure like Greene is. You establish yourself being brash and a fighter and a person who's not going to ever shut up. You're not going to back down, and you're trying to oust Speaker McCarthy, successfully ousted him, and then you're trying to oust Mike Johnson as well. When you're doing all of these things and now speaking out publicly against President Trump, you're seen as a person who is not easy to get along with. This is one of the reasons why I never particularly favored Greene, even though she's out of my state. So this is something that sometimes when you have this long history of something, it might take just as long to erase that history and start fresh. You can't just say, hey guys, can we just start over? And then everybody just accepts it. Some people don't even know you're a public figure. Some people don't even know that you want to start fresh. Some people see you as a person who you've always been for years. So if you really want to have that fresh start, then effectively, yeah, you kind of low key need to go on an apology tour and have so much video footage and history of you being a more agreeable person, a more likable person, that is overwhelming compared to who you were before. If you don't have that, then you can't just say, hey, just get over my past. Sometimes the apology has to be as loud as the disrespect. It just is what it is. And I find that a lot of people just don't want to do that. And if you don't want to do that, then you just got to deal with the consequence of, well, this is what people think of you.
Fundraising emails. And I, not only have I been a part of it, every Republican has and every Democrat has. I've also been a victim of it, just as many others have been victims of it. And so I think it's important for each person to take responsibility for their own action and words. And I think that responsibility falls on every single one in leadership. We have real problems in America. We have a $38 trillion debt. We have a young generation that looks to the future and doesn't have a lot of hope as they're struggling with jobs and housing. Social Security is going to become insolvent in just a few years in 2033. That affects every single one of us. So I think in the political industrial complex that has built on two parties that only know how to fight each other, it's time for people in politics to take it serious and realize that it's time to put the American people first.
You used an expression, taking
if Social Security is supposed to be insolvent, then why are people like Greene arguing against tariffs and getting rid of all the illegal aliens? Because on one hand, she wants to get rid of all illegal aliens except for construction workers because she has a construction business, but she doesn't want people coming in that are big brain illegal aliens with H-1B visas. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and she doesn't agree with tariffs, which are bringing in money to the country. It's not just passing costs to the consumer. Maybe in some cases, but in a lot of cases, it's bringing in money to the government, so the government takes less money from us. So is it somewhat circular logic, inevitably not making like a huge difference? Maybe you can make that argument, but then again, what about all the companies that are coming in and investing in America, increasing the jobs here?
But I've watched her say that he spends too much time on foreign. Well, by doing that, and first of all, it doesn't take a lot of time. I made one trip. I brought back trillions of dollars on that one trip. I stopped in Japan. I stopped in South Korea. I met with President Xi and ended what could have been a big problem.
You went to the Middle East. I was on that trip with you.
Went to the Middle East. I brought back $3 trillion from the Middle East. I sold many Boeing airplanes on that trip, like 300. When I go on a trip, I only have one place in mind. It's the United States.
And things like that. And the wages are going back up because, again, illegal aliens being deported, wages are going back up with the low inflation. So there's lots of things. When you put all of these things together, it paints a great picture. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, again, not really giving credit where credit is due. So I can see why President Trump would be like, nah, this lady's stupid.
Responsibility for your words. I know that you've mentioned here in this interview, President Trump calling you a traitor was a breaking point for you. In the past, you've tweeted, you called Republican Congressman Bob Good a traitor. You called some Republicans who voted for President Biden's infrastructure bill traitor Republicans. You've used that language too. Do you regret that?
Yes, I've already addressed this before, and I'll stand with what I've already said. I've also been the victim of it. I was actually accused by Democrats online of being the pipe bomber on January 5th, which was such an outrageous, dangerous lie that brought death threats on me back in 21 and 22. I've also been used many times and called a traitor by Democrats in fundraising emails and campaign ads. So again,
what I'm trying to figure out is why you keep saying that Trump is the Mr. Bully man here. The orange man hurt my feelings. If this is something that not only have you said, but also the Democrats have been saying about you, but the main person who you've been attacking historically prior to this interview has been President Trump. I don't get it.
To reiterate, this is a two-way street, and I seem to be the only one willing to take responsibility.
And Congresswoman, in fairness, we've asked Democrats as well. We ask everybody about their past stances and past statements. But we would be remiss if we didn't ask you about this. You say you're taking responsibility for it. I just want to be really clear. Do you regret, do you apologize for saying those things?
I've already addressed this. I said it on CNN. I've said it back in 2020, and thank you. I've already addressed it.
Could you address it here again, though? And if not, why not?
Thank you. I've already addressed it.
Ma'am, I don't want to dwell here, but I don't think you have addressed it here. If it's something you regret, I mean, could you just explain why you don't want to say it again?
I'm sorry, but I don't know why you have this motive. I don't quite understand it, but I've already addressed it, and people have thanked me, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. But this isn't an exercise that I should have to go through on every single interview, and it's quite unbecoming of you to continue to have to push that.
Ma'am, some people would argue that saying colleagues were traitors was unbecoming. I don't think this is an unreasonable question.
Again, see, this is the toxic nature that I'm talking about. And now you're participating in it yourself here with 11 Alive. And so again, I think you should take responsibility of your own words, the product that you're producing here on your network.
What has he done wrong?
I've done my part, so I think it would be good for you to do yours.
Well, ma'am, these are your words, but it seems like we're not going to get any further here. So I do want to ask you one last question.
You know what?
Before we wrap up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the interview. Hopefully, good luck.
Ma'am, are you going to run again?
Unfortunately, the clip just cuts there, guys. But again, I mean, here's the honest truth. Do I think that you just need to just apologize for the same thing over and over again, forever in perpetuity, and just kind of, you know, grovel at somebody's feet like, please forgive my past? No, absolutely not. But this is something, she didn't even want to address it. Again, a lot of people, I know for sure, haven't seen anything that Greene has apologized for. A lot of people didn't even see when she was on The View. You know, so it's one of those things where this has only been going on for a little while. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been who she's been for years now, for years. How are you going to just say, well, I already talked about that, so why are we talking about that? You can't do that. That's not fair to people who are not familiar with what you said. What if people haven't seen what you said and now you're coming across like, well, I mean, I really ain't that, so like, I already talked about this, so you just go watch my other interview. Like, come on, Greene, who's going to do that? Besides people like me who are trying to, you know, keep up with everything so I can make videos about it. A lot of people aren't seeing everything that you're doing. So they're not seeing if you had a more softer tone, or if you say, you know what, maybe I was a little too vitriolic in the past. Maybe I was too brash. You know, maybe I was too stubborn, too thick-headed in the past, and I regret those things. Maybe people haven't seen that. So to just kind of have this attitude of like, look, I already talked about it. Like, you're still doing the same thing. You're proving that you're the same person. And it's just one of those things that's kind of a consequence of our own actions. I don't feel like this guy was being I don't even know who this guy is, but at least in this interview, I don't feel like he was being like a jerk or an a-hole by, you know, kind of pressing on this. I mean, you know, she could have said, look, I ain't talking about it, and stuck with the interview, and it would have been more respectable. Now you're getting the Black Anomaly posting like Marjorie Taylor Greene rage quits interview. I mean, it's just going to make you look stupid and weak and pathetic. Guys, let me know what you think. You think this interviewer took things a little bit too far? Or do you think Greene is, you know, being a little too brash here? It's kind of reverting back low-key to her normal former self. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching the Black Anomaly channel. I'm out.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.